Compelled by Schlock.
Okay, what is up, Schlockaholics? We are here to bring you some very schlocky goodness. My name is Darby Ellis Lewis Wilson, and to the left or right of me, depending on how you're watching, is my good friend Chris Anonymous. I think there he is. Oh man!
And this is.
Do we say it together?
Yeah.
Compelled by Schlock. That's great. Where'd you go, buddy?
Here we go. So, the weekly podcast where we talk about schlocky movies, generally horror or sci-fi or fantasy, but could be anything.
So, you picked the movie this week. Can you tell us anything about it? What is it, and why did you pick it?
I wanted something that felt campy and 80s and just super like schlocky, just a crappy horror movie with a ridiculous premise. So you turned me on to Tubi, and so I was just cycling through the hundreds and hundreds of like really awful looking movies, and I remembered this one from I remember the poster or the VHS box from the video store back in the day as the kid. I bet that's scary. But that's all. That was my only memory of it.
Tubi is the equivalent is the digital equivalent, the streaming equivalent of walking through the movie store when you were a kid.
Right?
Yeah.
So many. Yeah. So I started just randomly putting movies in my queue there, my watch list, and then the next day I went back through and I cycled through and I'm like, yeah. And then I thought it was 80s or something, but it was 1995.
Yeah. Shot in 1995. I remember it from Fangoria magazine. I would go into the store and thumb through them, and this movie was a big deal for Fangoria magazine because of all the blood and guts and eyeballs and stuff that you see there. Interestingly enough, so quick quiz: how much do you think this movie costs to make?
I don't even know what budgets were back then for horror movie.
Ballpark it.
$5 million.
$5 million? Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty close. $2 million is what it costs to create this masterpiece. You never know looking at it. I would have thought it was made on a spit and a handshake, but $2 million to make this, and it takes place on, I think, one neighborhood block in two people's houses. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, we describe the movie as what is it? A delightfully confusing movie about an insane ice cream man that kills people and uses them to make his tasty treats. So, some interesting things about this movie. The budget, pretty big budget, I would say, for that movie. I think probably most of it went to Clint Howard.
I was going to say, that was probably where most of it went.
But it had to. Had to.
Well spent.
He did an amazing job. Very creepy. Mostly, I think he just had to show up for work and just nailed it. So something also interesting about this movie is the director. Did you look any of that up?
I did. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, the director is Norman Apstein, and that is that's not his real name, or it might be his real name. It's not the name he usually works under. I think it's Paul Norman.
Something?
Paul Norman,
Yeah,
I think.
I think so.
Anyway, he is a purveyor of a different kind of bad movie. Some people may know him from the critically acclaimed Edward Penis Hands trilogy. So those are the types of movies he was making before and after. This was his only foray into like actual movie making. So I think it shows in some ways. So let's get into it. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the schlocky. Chris, real quick, what did you think was good about this movie?
So, so this is our episode 1, but we did a test run. So we're talking about good, bad, and schlocky, and we go through it. The problem I had with this movie is that all three of those things blended together, like completely. So
it's a tall order to try and figure out what the dividing line is.
Yeah, Clint Howard's performance. I really enjoyed him. And, your performance is going to stand out even more against a bunch of non-actors, B actors. Yeah.
Well, it did have some semi-good pedigree in it.
It did?
David Warner, the British guy, the inexplicably British father who was in it. He was in Time Bandits. He was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah, and he was fine. He was like, we'll talk about that later in the bad or the schlock. So the good, the lead's performance. I love a black and white opening. That gets me every time. Just a nice little
it's a memory. It's back in the day.
Yeah.
It's back before the world had color.
Yeah, everything else that I have listed in my good column is also in my schlock or bad column. So what about you? What was good for you?
So I'm in sort of the same boat of trying to find like, where the line is of what is actually good and what is actually bad. What I'll say is that I think that there is a really good movie somewhere hidden inside of this movie.
Inside of this mess.
I mean, just the idea of like a killer ice cream man, right? Going around in the ice cream truck. Inside, he's got like all these body parts in the ice cream and bugs and eyeballs stuff. I think that's pretty scary, right? That's like the kind of person you would think would like abduct children, right? Like,
right, yeah, and that's what I thought the movie was going to be.
Yeah. So there's a great premise in there, but I think that like it kind of missed the mark everywhere. So there's like all these sort of really cool things in there. I can see where there's some really great imagery where someone who was putting this together was like, yeah, we're gonna have this grave, and instead of having candles all around it, we're gonna have ice cream cones all around it. So it looks like a sweet seance or something, and it just didn't really go off like that. The sanitarium scene where the cops, the very, very terrible cops that aren't good at their job, they go to the sanitarium to check it out, and it turns out that the sanitarium has been overrun by the inmates. Is that what you call the patients, the guests?
Patient.
It's overrun, and I could see where whoever was putting this movie together would have thought, this will be a very cool scene. We're going to have like this kind of zombie scene where these people are like walking around and being creepy, and it just turns into this weird slow scene where they're just walking out.
Yeah. So there's a discrepancy felt between what they actually filmed and turned out versus the vision in their heads. And watching it, you can see the vision in their heads and how cool that would be. And it just did not translate. Yeah.
And so the last thing I'll say about that is that I believe in doing some research for this, I believe that it was originally intended to be like a young adult, preteen horror movie. Like it was originally supposed to be rated PG-13, which is wild given like all the blood and guts and the brief, slight nudity in it. But once looking at it through that lens, that it's made essentially for kids, a lot of the logic of the movie starts to come into play. Like the scene where the ice cream man is chasing the fake fat kid through the supermarket, and he like dives underneath the shopping cart, and the shopping cart carries him.
Whoever. Yeah, 100%. I was going to bring that scene up. I have that written in the bad.
And the bad, we'll take it away. Let's go into the bad.
All right, so we'll start with the bad with, I wrote down, feels like a ton of random ideas. And that's kind of what you were talking about. There's a solid movie idea in there somewhere, but they just had like, okay, what else can we put in? Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Right.
And it just doesn't. Case in point, the grocery chase scene. He hides under the grocery cart in the bottom section. Like that's some Home Alone like logic. Like that's some.
That reminds me of
like,
when I was a kid. I got in trouble on the playground, and I knew like the teacher was looking for me, so I went and hid underneath of a park bench, thinking like, "Oh, I'm under something, ergo, I cannot be seen nor found." And like, she immediately caught me, and she's like, "Oh, you stupid kid! Like, why would you do that?"
But it doesn't matter if he hides under there and everyone can see him, because a chase scene, if you're a kid in a crowded grocery store, does not work. Because you can go up to anybody and be like, "Hey, that creepy ice cream guy is trying to grab me."
Yeah. This very obviously creeper pedophile man is coming for me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The whole heavy-handed symbology with the Pied Piper that made no sense and did not work is bad.
Yeah, I'll wait for the Schlock to talk about that, but
okay.
Yeah.
So the acting,
Sam's
the lead in a couple of minor roles, is just awful. The framing's awful. The blocking's awful. They deliver it like it's just beyond B. Like they'll just walk onto the scene, stand there, and start talking, or like not move when they're talking. When the two cops get the ice cream cone, and then the mother of the missing child comes up. My god! I'm like, yeah, she just stands there, and then and then like the logic behind the adults, like
she stands there waiting for him to like finish sucking on the eyeball that he ate from the ice cream cone. The eyeball of which wasn't even the part that he put into the ice cream cone. Sorry,
and I'll come back to that in Schlock. But so it's just awful. And the delivery and the dialogue was so clunky and like, "Hey, you got $1? Well, that's a nice ice cream cone." Just,
give me some of that world famous hard pack.
And then last but not least, in the bad, and this was almost Schlock, but I put it to the bad. Tuna's stuffed shirt, man. Fat washing.
Yeah.
You should have cast a fat kid in the fat kid role. Or at least spend a little money on some kind of prosthetics to make him look fat instead of shoving a pillow in his shirt.
Or maybe just pivoted and not made him fat. If that was the only person they could have gotten, I mean... it felt very much like trying... I wonder if the original scripts, being kind of like a kid's horror movie, was more in vein of like Stand By Me and Goonies and like all the Monster Squad. All those staples where you've got the stereotype of each kid that gets shown, right? Like, we gotta have a fat kid. Right.
But you can't cast a fat kid. So yeah, like you said, just make him not fat.
Right.
No.
There are apparently just no fat kids in LA or wherever this was shot. But
yeah,
you bring up a good point. Goonies, Stand By Me, So is this a kids on bike movie? Is this it? But with ice cream?
Yeah. It is a great touchstone for this. Yeah, this felt like it was there. This felt like the version was inspired by those movies. Yeah, I think the original script's probably Kids on Bikes.
Yeah,
and it got turned into whatever this is. So, what was bad for you?
So, what was bad for me, and this kind of goes back to the idea that there's a good movie in there somewhere, and I think the reason it turned out to be a bad movie. I mean, the premise is ridiculous anyway. Well, sort of. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a good premise. But so I think that they had just way too many wasted scenes. So, for instance, too many flashback scenes, right? Once they get to the sanitarium and at the very end, right before the ice cream man dies, before Gregory dies, and they finally like show him, he's the one like getting tortured in the sanitarium. Like, it's not a big reveal or anything because we already know, we figured it out already. And so they just did that way too much, and they could have used that time for something else, like perhaps showing the kids, aka the Rocketeers, I don't know, building and shooting off rockets. That would have been some good time.
That compelled us to care about these kids, right?
And then like the wasted time with the weird religious family, the mom. Like I love that scene where she's speaking in tongues or whatever, and she's like, ah! Like, I
thought she was having a seizure. I thought she was like foaming at the mouth, and then he says his line about the angel and that she's running upstairs. I'm like,
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, he said that the angel Gabriel is speaking through your mother again.
Yeah.
And so they just have like this weird line that like through line, not the actual dialogue, but just like the whole thing about Heather, the girl's dad, being like this weird minister. And like I just felt like a lot of scenes like that were just totally wasted when they could have made it gorier, put in more deaths, did better character development for the kids. So it could have been a better Schlocky movie.
Yeah, it took like 100 different ideas that had nothing to do with each other. Like, oh, and let's have this weird religious guy in here. Well, it doesn't serve the movie at all. So why waste the time?
Right.
But, all right. So that's bad. Should we get to Schlock? Because that's what we're compelled by.
Let's talk about the Schlocky, which we don't really know what Schlock is, right? We don't have a clear, concise definition that we both agree on, and so this is where we just kind of talk about the why and the what of the movie. I think, right?
Right.
So the big ideas floating around it, maybe
different scenes, different shots, and just whatever. So. Do you want to start? You want me to start? You want to go back and forth?
Well, let's go back to the Pied Piper thing. I was trying to like figure that whole thing out. Like what was the Pied Piper analogy? It doesn't really make sense.
I think it was probably left over from an earlier draft where the parents wronged him or something.
Right.
And so he uses ice cream to lure the kids somewhere to get revenge.
Exactly. A good movie within a bad movie. A good premise within a bad movie.
Yeah, Batman Returns, basically.
Yeah. Maybe it was too close in time to Batman Returns. They dished out on it. No, I doubt it.
So, specific things, man. The close-up of the chewing of the eyeball that just stayed on the shot for so long was amazing.
It was a little gratuitous.
Yeah. Helen's family, just WTF, like the whole religious thing. When they're in church and he has the stigmata where his hands are bleeding. The severed head ice cream cone that he delivers to the sex bot. That's amazing. What else do I got? The clown dancing. That's one of those first flashbacks. That's amazing. All right, so here's the schlocky thing to me. I love Home Alone 1 and 2. Have you seen them a fair amount? Or no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm thinking it's Home Alone 1, and I think the story that he tells about it might not be Home Alone. I might be confusing with another movie. There's a movie where some older kid tells a younger kid about like this guy who had like ice cream thing, and it was a really, really hot summer, and so like he killed his entire family, and then they found him like in the hidden somewhere, or they couldn't find the bodies, and I can't remember if that's the story that
sounds similar, like Home Alone, where he's telling Kevin.
About
beware of the shovel
neighbor.
Man.
Yeah. And so it feels like this guy heard that story. He's like, yeah, what if there was a crazy ice cream guy? And then like you see the parallel of like Small Paul, man. They made him look like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't cast Macaulay Culkin, and so they made him look like Macaulay Culkin in My Girl.
Yeah.
Man. Like same haircut, same glasses, like we need you to act more like Macaulay. Trust me, you're gonna be famous. You're gonna be big.
They keep talking about a sequel to this movie, and Macaulay Culkin would be a great grab to be the new Ice Cream Man.
Well, yeah, because I love the ending.
Him.
Yeah, I love the ending because it's cyclical, right? It's the same as the beginning of like, that opening line. I don't remember it exactly, but like, who's gonna bring us the ice cream now?
The beginning where the apparent mobsters gun down the ice cream king.
Yeah,
I want to know about that story. What was that guy into that got him gunned down by some mobsters?
That would be a great movie, right? Like it opens with black and white, an ice cream truck pulls up, and then it just gets gunned down by mobsters. And what we assume is he turns into the crazy ice cream man, witnesses it, and he's sitting crying on the curb. His mom comes up and he's like, but who's going to deliver the ice cream now?
So
that's a great opening line.
I want to throw an idea out here at you. And I think this is the only place you'll hear it. Because believe it or not, there's not a lot of places that have really reviewed this movie and talked about the good and the bad of it, or any ideas within it. So here's my theory. The Ice Cream Man is actually trying to protect the kids.
I agree.
Yeah?
I agree.
You like that idea?
Yeah, no, because he doesn't kill the Macaulay Culkin light. He doesn't kill Small Paul.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to keep you.
He's mean to Fat Tuna, but that's just because Tuna, he's not playing along, right? He's not doing He's not doing what he's supposed to.
I feel like if he would have got Tuna in the grocery store, which is funny to say.
Yeah.
Oh, I also love the line.
That's why they wrote that.
Yeah, trolling for Tuna. Oh my God, so funny. If he would have captured Tuna, I think he would have brought him to the cage like Small Paul. I don't think he ever intended to actually kill kids. I think he thought of them. I think he felt like a damaged kid. Yeah, I agree with you. 100%.
Which is interesting because if you read like the summaries, the synopses, the one-liners describing the movie, the vast majority of them say he's turning brats into Sunday treats or something like that, implying that he's specifically going out to kill the kids. But
he only kills the adults.
The people he kills, right, are the cheating dad and the his mistress, right? Someone who's like potentially hurting. Is it Jason? Is that the name of the kid? The jerk brother or boyfriend, whichever he was. I didn't catch that. The
older brother and the girlfriend. he also kills the guy who told them the creepy version of Pied Piper in the beginning.
So yeah, in the beginning, I thought that guy was very creepy. Like he was like skulking up on that kid, and then the ice cream truck comes up, and so there was a very creepy feeling that like, is this guy also a creeper? Is he going to get the kids? And if you'll notice, so the trash man who I'm talking about, he has these rubber boots on. When Tuna is in the supermarket and he's running away from the ice cream man and he goes into the butcher's area, they show the shot of these rubber boots and they pan up and it's like supposed to be suspenseful, and it shows that it's just the butcher. But it's the same rubber boots that the trash man is wearing in the beginning. So was he afraid of the rubber boots because they're associated with the trash man? Ergo, did Gregory the ice cream man kill the trash man because he was a threat to the children?
I 100% agree. I think Ice Cream Man is like a children's vigilante Batman Dexter.
That's right.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Vigilante Batman Dexter.
Yeah, he's basically a superhero who's misunderstood. Like, he goes too far. He's like, what if Joker were Batman? You know, he's doing the right thing, but he's going too far. And he's insane.
Well, and he kills the cops but they're like getting in his way, right? Like they're gonna expose him or find him out, so he's got to get rid of them.
Well, and here's the other thing to go with your theory. If we're talking just total schlock, all the other adults are inept.
Totally.
All of them are inept. So he feels that he's the only one who can save the kids from the danger that's out in the world because all the adults are inept. I mean, all the parents are oblivious and doing their own things, are crazy. All the cops are incompetent, are worse. Also, the cops, when they go to look in his ice cream parlor,
they just bash everything.
Yeah,
maybe there's a kid in this light bulb. Smash.
It was just basically an excuse that you're a weirdo and we don't like you, so we're going to smash your stuff.
Well, did they do it because of that, or was it because the person who created this movie, who directed it, was just like, yeah, that's how cops search things, right? I've been raided several times in my adult film business, and this is how they search your house.
I just love the line, like, and if you find any hidden doors or holes, you search them good. And then the cop's like, will do. And then right into the camera, he raises an axe up. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Oh man, there's so many great moments. So it felt like it was inspired by the aesthetics of the 80s, which is probably when this dude shot like his most
prevalent works.
Right? Yeah, the most ones that like came close. So like, I don't know, for 95, it felt like it came out of the 80s, and that's a compliment.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, the ice cream man when the brother. Okay, the brother is amazing.
Yeah, he wants to be a cop or something.
Yeah. He grabs the gun. And it's like, no, just call the cops. He's like, got the gun. The badge will follow. I'm like, that's one of the greatest lines of all time. But no, it's when he goes in to look for him and he's passing the stuff on the wall, and then the ice cream man holds up an empty frame.
Oh man, I love that.
That's one of my favorite parts. I laugh so hard, and then you think he's coming back out, but it's actually the ice cream man, and he's got his catchphrase of like brain freeze when he kills the girlfriend. Oh, so good.
Yeah, they really dragged the well for puns in this one, I think.
Which is a staple of horror schlock that I love. Like, yeah, I love a good pun.
So we're just about out of time. I want to run one more thing across you. At the end, where they reveal that Gregory, the ice cream man, is the one getting injected, it shows the doctor that's been injecting him dead, possibly on the ground, covered in daisies. And so there's two weird things about that. earlier we see when they're in the sanitarium, when the cops are in the sanitarium, that doctor is strapped on the table getting the guacamole put into his brain, and he's still alive. So was he dead? What happened there? Did Gregory just recently escape from the mental institution? That's what the summaries say. They never say that, never really imply it, but that's like the closest you can imply to that.
Here's the only thing that could imply it. The first body, the body you see in the ice cream freezer, I don't know if that's I think it's a different shaped body than the guy at the park who was picking up trash. So I think it was the actual ice cream man who owned that ice cream thing.
So again, in that flashback, when the doctor is dead on the ground with the daisies on him, they cart the original ice cream man out, and he gives Gregory an ice cream cone. So was that dude not actually dead? I think what was going on?
Yeah, I think that was part of his mind. I forgot one other good thing that you've brought back to me about that whole ending. The third act weapon that wannabe Macaulay Culkin uses to lure him in, brilliant. That's like such a smart thing of it's the picture of the guy he wants to be and would follow, and that's where you get Pied Piper, because he's the ice cream man is the guy following the original ice cream king, who was the Pied Piper, and he follows him off the cliff into the giant vat that he uses to chop nuts.
So yeah, very loosely pulling the Pied Piper stuff. What went through my mind was, I think that Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th has been defeated that way quite a few times, with people holding up the head of his mother or putting on her sweater, and they lure him into his doom. That's where my mind went.
Yeah, it felt smart to have a kid do it though, because it feels like a.
Well, he's the one that was reading the Pied Piper. He was the one who's all about it. So So he knew. And then I love the end shot where where's Small Paul? Where do you think? Yeah, he's crazy.
Therapy.
He's crazy. Yeah. So, all right, that is all the time that we have currently. We are at our 30-minute mark. We're trying real hard to keep these right around half an hour so that they're not terribly inconvenient to watch. You get a nice little shot of Schlock, and you can go about your day or your week. So,
all right,
any closing thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the closing thought, I don't know how we're going to do this since this is our first one. Would you recommend this Schlock movie to someone who likes Schlock?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I have to confess, I watched the Riff Tracks version.
Nice.
Because that's
I saw
love Schlock that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I would give this 2 ice cream scoops up, man.
I give it 2 knifey push pops up.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing. When he kills the little dog. And then why did the weird grinder exist in the ice cream truck? Why would that be in the ice cream truck?
How do you powder people? Many questions to ask about this movie. That's why it's so great. It's very confusing. It's very rewatchable. So, all right, this is all the time that we have. I'm Darby. This is Chris. We are Compelled by Schlock. Hopefully this will be up on YouTube within the coming days. We'll see. We're going to try and make this a weekly thing. If you guys have any ideas for some Schlocky movies that we should do, please leave a comment, get in contact with us and tell us, and we will check them out. And we'll try and check them all out together.
It's your turn to choose for next week. Have you chosen a movie yet?
I have not chosen yet, but I will let everybody know by Wednesday or Thursday of this week what we'll do next Monday.
All right.
So, all right, everybody, take it easy. Thank you for joining us. We are dipping out.
Schlocky, schlock, 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 schlocky, schlock, schlock.